I'm Kevin, and welcome to my podcast, Fighting My Freedom, where we talk about what gets us going. What are you passionate about? What gets you up in the morning? I'm excited about my next guest today. She is a singer-songwriter, activist, and poet. And I spent most of the last episode talking about this episode. So we're just going to get right into it. So I'm going to play two songs, one before the interview and one after the interview. And we'll have to see what you guys think of the tunes. The first one is called Water is Life. And we're going to get to that right now.
Clear water. If water is love and love is an ancient, it's an ancient story.
Hey, Sunny, how you been? It's great talking to you.
Hey, Kevin, I've been doing good. How are you, brother?
Well, I'm doing all right. Just living the dream.
Me too. Wilderness camping on a mountaintop.
Sounds like a good time.
With no one in sight for miles and miles and many, many miles. But what's interesting is we're going to have a sunrise ceremony tomorrow morning at sunrise, which is about 4:20 in the morning. So some folks are holding the camp right now over at Pihimuha, which is like down the road and up the mountain. And then the camp we're at right now is at Sentinel Rock. And that's another camp that's up a mountainside and right here in Oravada, Nevada. So it's kind of cool that we're talking today.
So what brought you out to that part of the country this time?
There is a lithium mine that's looking to be started here at Thacker Pass, and it's an open pit lithium mine, and it's a 40-year proposal, and in those 40 years it'll just be mayhem for the water system here. And, just the natural wildlife. There's like burrowing owls here. There's all types of snakes and insects and animals. And there's a cattle ranch. There's ranchers and cattle. And there's folks that are definitely opposed to it. And then folks that are not opposed to this lithium mine. And it would just be devastating to the precarious water problem that's already happening in the Southwest, in this part of the country. So
I think that's why they built the Hoover Dam. It controls like water for like 3 states or something.
Yeah, the Hoover Dam, a bunch of other different, they're proposing like another lithium mine down at the Pyramid Lake Indian Reservation there. And if that happens, they're proposing to use water from the lake. It's the Colorado River's running dry. This is a basin, so there's a lot of like groundwater, but that keeps trees and things growing here. It's beautiful. I mean, there is a wetland here. And, with this lithium mine and what it takes to run this lithium mine, sulfuric acid, it'll just destroy everything. And like even make it more, like I said, the water situation even more detrimental for the future. I mean, we were in Reno recently and we saw a newspaper article that said, we're safe for 80 years. Well, what about, there's, life goes on after 80 years. So, we're safe for 80 years. Well, what about our kids?
They're like, we're going to be dead by then. I don't give a shit.
But that's the thing. We're not going to be dead by then. We're eternal beings. Like, this planet is millions and billions of years old. So, if we're running the extinction program, yeah, we'll be dead. If we're thinking about Armageddon, yeah, we'll be dead. But, I think life is a very mystical thing. And, humanity, we're brilliant. We're capable of so much goodness and so much just like creative energy. And so we have to stop thinking that we're going to just die,
So what all does this include? Like, is this part of the Standing Rock protests and stuff like that?
Yes.
I'm new to this whole thing with the protesting and stuff, but it's pretty interesting, I think.
Right on. Well, the reason why it's connected for me with Standing Rock is because Standing Rock was like the first time that 500 plus indigenous nations came together, not anywhere else, like not over in Europe, on Turtle Island, like this continent, North America, right? And they 500 nations, seven 7 tribes of, American Indian nations all came together, which is the heart of the indigenous folks here on Turtle Island. And Standing Rock was like the kind of the eye-opening, like that water is life. Because they were proposing the No Dapple pipeline to go under, the Missouri River and the Cannonball River. And, the children of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe had just had enough, of seeing their friends dying from drugs and just, being on, just the poverty and just like, and there's also great things happening on reservations too, these folks have been restoring like a riddled history. They just the fact that they're still survived after they were put on reservations in like the most unhospitable lands. They weren't expected to survive, but they did. And the reason why they did is because Mother Nature, she's so abundant that no matter where you move someone, if they are connected to the land, they're going to find a way to survive because Mother Nature is abundant. And that's why greed can get so crazy, because like they don't think that anything can grow there. They don't think there's any natural resources there, but natural resources are everywhere. So if you're greedy, you're going to be able to just spoil everything.
Greed is also lack mentality.
Yes. So there's never enough. Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's never enough. And I gotta keep all I can for myself.
Yep. So, yep. Yeah, exactly. So Standing Rock definitely has a big part of this. First off, because in Standing Rock, I met Myron Dewey, and Myron Dewey, he recently died in a tragic head-on collision, which they've actually been, looking into. He was a very avid journalist and movie maker and storyteller and activist and father and just good human being. And he died recently, not too far away from where I am now. And, I met him my first day at Standing Rock, and he said, "Sunny, you're not singing. He's not singing. We're praying. This is a prayer camp. Don't forget it." And I said, okay. So, being a musician and, knowing that water is life and it's our first medicine, I came here, and I'm holding the vision for Myron. It's pretty. It can be pretty bleak because these big companies, they do whatever it takes to get what they want, and they divide the peoples, and they like today we actually had to call to get the gate unlocked, so that so people can come up on public land, because it's now bought by the American Lithium Company. So now this land was bought because now it's owned by the lithium mine. So how do you stop that when they own the land now?
Right. I love the idea of well, not the idea, but I love how you referred to playing music as a prayer.
Yes.
It took me a long time to make that connection. Like I kept compartmentalizing things, you know what I mean? And then I started finding an interest in like meditation music. So I started kind of getting into that a little bit.
Yes.
And then I started listening to a few other things. And then I started looking back on my life and how I played as a musician, and realizing that all this time, without even knowing it, I had been channeling. I had been talking to my guides. I had been doing all this stuff unconsciously, and it all kind of made sense into that playing music is a prayer. It is a way for us to talk to, our spiritual beings, and might not necessarily be like, "Hi, Jill, how you doing?" But like it's just a wonderful, wonderful way. And even though it took me a while to make that connection, I love the fact that you have that same connection.
Absolutely. I always knew that when I first started to create music, I always knew that it was very spiritual. It was because I wasn't writing your like typical love songs, and I was like reading books about the Native American Indian movement. I was reading books about the Black Panthers, and I went and saw like Amiri Baraka when I was in my first year in college, and I was a poet. I followed the Black Mountain poets and the beat poets. I actually, on my 19th birthday, I flew to San Francisco just to visit City Lights and go to college. Of course, I dropped out of college because I once I started playing the guitar, I got all mixed up. But like, I always knew that my craft or my gift or my music was definitely of a spiritual bent, like a resistance type, like questioning this and that. It wasn't entertainment. So I was very fortunate that at Standing Rock, I met Myron, and I was told that it's a prayer, because right when I heard that, it all made sense. And then I just was able to just move forward without any like distractions of why I was playing music. I was like, it was just like a flower, just, right, growing from the ground, from a seed. My prayer songs were no different than like flowers blooming and trees budding, and
Yeah, I completely agree. Plus, if you think about like, okay, certain frequencies affect people in certain ways, right? So
yes,
let's say you're a metal guy, and that's what you love. Well, you're having a experience while you're listening to that metal music. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like it doesn't necessarily, you can call it what you want, but you're still having an experience with it.
Absolutely.
And when I realized that, I started thinking, well, I don't need to really worry about playing specifically this meditation type music where it's certain frequencies that does this and certain frequencies that do that, because if I play what's in my heart, that is meditation music.
Exactly. You know what I mean? No matter what genre.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
So then I started kind of thinking, well, you know what? I'm just going to worry about making my music and following my divine inspiration. What do you think about how you're finding your divine inspiration?
Well, I think that a natural segue is like actually the prayer songs, because the prayer songs actually make me, I actually feel like I go into I approach like all my performance as a ceremony. And I think that actually allows me to really tap into like my unique creative blueprint or thumbprint or fingerprint. And I think that that's the key for me in this big, massive world where we live in a world of consumerism and comparing and blah, 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 and I feel like being able to tap into music as ceremony and as prayer, it's like totally dialed into my authentic self. And that is the key to, honing your craft, being your authentic self. It's like, and that's what the world, and that's the love frequency, and that's what the world needs because I study with a woman named Amanda Flaker, and she talks about holding witness as opposed to holding judgment. Now, we judge ourselves a million times a day, and if we're judging ourselves, we fall into judging others. And when we judge others, it's not even like we mean to do it. It's just that it's like we're used to that. We've been raised in that. I mean, look at your TV shows. There's like right now, there's people judging are like they're God-given talents. They're competing against one another, and no one, if you really get down to it, no one likes to lose. So I think that's a bruise to your creative spirit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We get this whole we're raised with the fact that there's something wrong with us and we need to fix it, and we're always something wrong with us and we need to fix it. And so like if you're a little eccentric or if you're a little bit of a character, and you're a kid, you might think there's something wrong with you rather than just embracing your little quirks that make you unique,
And everyone has them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why we're called individuals, and that's why we are our own self.
But this industrialized, put everybody in a box, make sure we all fit nicely and all this other crap.
Yeah, so that we're easily controllable.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So how's the touring been going, and how has the promotion of the gigs helped you with the promotion of your new record?
Okay, well, the new record hasn't come out yet. It's still being co-created. I just got a track in from, it's so cool. I just got a track in from Tyrell Collins and Leah, his girlfriend. They just sang backup vocals on a song called Wintertime on the World of Water collection. And they just sent through like this choir of vocals, and it brought me to tears. And so basically, I think that I've been on the continuous Ancient Love Story tour since 2020, March of 2020. I was doing some gigs here and there, but with the pandemic, that was pretty much like, stripped away. So I was doing things online, and then occasional gigs outside. So at the top of maybe like spring, late mid-spring, the record was still being made, and I just said, you know what, I gotta just get out and share that a record's coming and get some gigs, or some ceremonies, musical ceremonies. So my friend Ananga, she invited me down to West Virginia, Wheeling, West Virginia, and I went and played a few musical ceremonies with her. We had Cindy Yon Lewis, who read some poetry at one of the gigs at a place called Mugshots, and then we did a show at Later Alligator under the dogwood trees. It was really beautiful. I mean, I had been witnessing her doing these shows, and now here I was playing them. And then I hopped on the bus and went up to Minneapolis to do a Art World Festival, which had been dormant for 2 years during the pandemic. So it was like a big celebration back out on the street, like an open art studio in Northeast Minneapolis. 3 days of music. I played on Saturday, and what was interesting is I Productions, where I'm making half of the record because it's a double record. They played my music and the music they co-created on throughout the whole festival. So it was really cool to hear, the unfinished tracks still playing, and and then also like letting people know that Tyrell, who lined up all the music, was actually the person that was recording that collection, World of Water. And now John Swana, we just finished tracks with Michael DeMonte on drums in Philadelphia. So simultaneously, I'm having tracks coming in. We're almost there, Kevin. So I think what's going to happen is I finally will have the record, and I think I'm hoping that will help me get the support to do like a bona fide tour where I'm actually booking, events where I'm playing in person on a more regular basis and not hit or miss here and there. Now that live music is coming back, and maybe I'm thinking about getting my friend Mel is designing a website, and I really do feel like this double record, Ancient Love Story, is really going to help me just like step into like maybe getting a booking agent, and then really getting some support for a real proper and maybe I shouldn't say proper, because I've been on a tour and I've been doing it, but like where I'm actually utilizing stages.
Right. No, I understand.
And having people to interact with, because humanity, no matter how fucked up this world is, excuse my language, but I believe in humanity 100,000 billion, I don't even know if that's a word, percent. And I want to restore humanity. And I just love humanity, and I love this planet. I love every creature on it. I love the water. I love the mountain. I love the sky, the sun, the moon,
Yes, that is awesome. While I'm thinking about it, will you tell me who all is playing on your records?
You got it. Thank you. Because Water is Life. It was recorded in Philadelphia by John Swana, and he recently went into his friend Steve's studio in New Jersey, and recorded drums with Michael DeMonte. And then myself playing guitar and singing. And then my nieces, Catherine, Ava, and Diana, came in and did like chants and whispers and some backup vocals on Water's Life. And then my dear friend Sarah, who you won't hear on the track, but she it's going to be another surprise. So if you want to hear Sarah's gift in co-creating on the record, like come back and get the record down the line, because she's going to be playing what I call shamanic sounds, like all the way from Berlin, Germany. She has the track and she's like getting into the spirit of it, and she's going to be playing rattles and different types of, really mystical.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that.
Beauty. And her name is Sarah Martinez. So she won't be on the track that you play for the podcast listeners as of now, but she will be on the record when it comes out. And then the World of Water collection, we have the song called Sunshine and Water, and that's recorded in Ham Lake, Minnesota by Tyrell Collins. His girlfriend Leah is singing backup vocals. Tyrell is playing drums and bass. And then a fella named Xander Griggs Miff is playing the Fender Rhodes. And then myself on the song called Sunshine and Water. And I promise I'll make sure to, since I got this great connection up on the mountain tonight, I'll send that invite for that song so you can get that.
I know the last time we talked, we didn't get a chance to talk too much about your activism, and I find it fascinating. So, it turns out you're up in Standing Rock, fighting the good fight, trying to, really make a difference out there, which is absolutely heroic and commendable. So, my question is there anything I can do, energetically or not, to help you with your cause?
Let's see. Well, first and foremost, I'm not your typical activist, because I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, I do believe at times we do need to stand and protect. I also believe that we need to witness and love. In Hawaiian, it's called Kapu Aloha. And Kapu Aloha is when you send love and nonviolent compassion and witness, and you hold your enemy or the person you're on a polar opposite of your cause, like you hold them with reverence and love. It's the ultimate aloha. Aloha is love. And Kapu Aloha is how it's what feeds my activism. I don't believe in war, and I don't believe in violence, but I do believe that, I do believe in resistance, but for me, if I hold it in love, that's what's going to make, I feel, the change. So if there was anything I could ask of you to help in my journey as an activist, standing for Mother Earth and Father Sky and water and the mountain, I would just say, celebrate the way I approach activism, because I believe that it's restoration, and to restore, we have to witness so that we can transmute past traumas, so that we can really restore and really move forward and co-create heaven on earth, or a just world. Because justice to me is mercy, and mercy is the ultimate gift of forgiveness and compassion and empathy.
Cool. So what I'll do, it just gave me the ideas. What I'll do is, in my meditations, is I'm just gonna hold space for you in love.
Yes, exactly.
And then just put that out there, and then we'll see what happens.
Exactly, Kevin. Thank you for asking, because like I really felt like I wanted to ask you, like, when you created Finding My Freedom, did you feel that that was a form of activism? Because I believe it is.
No, not at all, to be honest with you. And
See?
I did remember, I actually had to answer that question because it was a good one. No, I did not think of it as a form of activism. I thought of it as a form of healing. And even though, like, I didn't want to do it, like, part of me was just like, dude, what are you doing, man? Don't, like, you're going to just do all that, put it all out there, right? And I was like, well, yeah, I had to face my worst fear. And my worst fear is in a lot of ways is like, like people seeing me in a light that I'm not controlled, that I didn't control. You know what I mean? So, so I never really thought of it as sort of activism, but I thought of it as, well, it's healing, and it's not just about like, okay, I'm going to tell my story. The whole pretentious, well, I'm going to tell my story, and if somebody else gets some benefit from it, then great. Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, sure, that's great. But first and foremost, I did it to heal myself. You know what I mean? Like, that's the very first thing, and that's the most important thing, is like, the other stuff that comes with it is what the reward is for actually putting yourself out there in that kind of way. But in my meditations and in my prayers, it kept coming up, dude. Start a podcast. You know what I mean? And it's like to the point where I could not ignore it, and I did not want to do it, but I knew I had to, and that to me is part of the whole divine inspiration too. It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to,
Exactly.
So activism, no, but healing, yes, absolutely.
But what's interesting is, if we think of like activism and we think about what activists are doing, they are actually healing. Activism has, in its most tender side, an element of healing. That's why it's interesting that when I listen to Finding My Freedom and your whole premise of it, to me, it's like, of course, it's not like, it's like covert activism, but it's straight up activism.
That's pretty cool.
It really is. I mean, of course, that's my perception. But I definitely think if anyone would just indulge with me, they could say, yeah, Finding My Freedom is actually an act of, like reclaiming your sovereignty, which is total resistance to exactly what we've been force-fed all of our life.
Right. And it's a lot of fun too.
But it's a lot of fun. Yeah. I know I'm getting all fired up, but what's interesting is that, like, it finding our freedom in this world where we're not encouraged to find our freedom, we're encouraged to just follow the rules, stay in the box, stay in the lanes. Finding my freedom and doing it for yourself and healing is exactly what activists are doing.
Right. Yeah. Now that you put it that way, yeah, definitely, I could see that.
It's totally cool, Kevin. Really cool. I just thought of that, and that's why I think it also, as soon as I saw Finding My Freedom, when I saw you on, Cosmic Awakening, it resonated with me, and it just spoke to that spirit. That spirit in me, which is like, the activist spirit, which really could be like someone that takes action for self-liberation.
What's next for the stage of the recording then? Did you say you were going to go up to Minnesota and spend some time with the vocals or something?
Everyone's working on getting everything dialed in, and then I'd like to get to Minneapolis and help.
Yeah, help with the mastering.
Yeah, just like listening to the final stages, because right now the record is in chronological order. Like the first nine are like the 18 songs. Well, it's actually 16 songs, 2 poems. They're actually in chronological order right now. That was the easiest way for me to approach getting my demos. Like I just put all the things in chronological order. And, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, World of Water has been recorded in Minneapolis, Ham Lake, and then Heaven on Earth is in Philly. Maybe they won't merge. Maybe they'll stay in chronological order, but maybe Tyrell will want to, when we master it, and maybe we'll want to sequence the songs differently. So I'd like to maybe just be in those last stages.
Hey, Sunny. Well, it's always great talking to you. And please, come on back. Maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month. Whenever you get the urge, just come on back.
I'd love to, Kevin. Thank you. It's great talking to you. This time around, we had a lot of, we had a video talk. We had, snafus. It's been really cool.
Yes, it has. So this is the second track I promised you. This one is called Sunshine and Water. I hope you dig it.
died in a watery tomb. I died in a watery womb, watery womb, from which I was born from. I rise up in harmony. I am sunshine and water.
Well, that about does it for this episode. I hope you guys had a good time with this. I had a lot of fun making it. If you're interested in guitar lessons, please feel free to get a hold of me through my website, kevinwinsettmusic.com, and we can set something up. Until then, I hope you guys have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.